Welcome to Ray Reads, a podcast where I discuss the books I'm currently reading. For this episode of Ray Reads, I will be discussing Brisingr, Book 3 of the Inheritance Cycle by Christopher Paolini. I once stated that Eragon's tale is not a love story. This is a claim I stand by. In this book, Eragon reveals to Roran that the reason he remains infatuated with Arya, despite her disinterest, is because the elf is the only woman he can safely love. As a dragon rider, Eragon is now immortal. He is afraid to give his heart to a human because he will have to watch her grow old and die alone. Although he claims to be in love with Arya, Eragon in this book has to learn to see Arya for who she truly is. The truest love is that of Roran and Katrina. I was surprised that the book did not utilize Roran's point of view during Katrina's rescue from Helgrind. After his insane journey from Carvajal, I never expected anyone else to narrate Katrina's rescue mission. So, that was rather disappointing. But, at least Roran's story continues in this book as he fights to prove himself a valuable asset to Nazawata and the Varden. By the way, it did not occur to me until about halfway through this third book to look up the meaning of the word Varden. Varden means green knoll, and I think that's lovely. I would have figured the rebel organization would have adopted a more ferocious name. Green knoll sounds so tranquil. I am absolutely in love with Nazawata. Her father raised her to be an extraordinary leader. The Varden would likely be lost without her. Although, I did find it odd that Nazawata allowed Edric to lead. Judging from Roran's experience with him, Edric does not appear competent enough. With how Nazawata is vetting Roran before allowing him to command, I just can't see how she offered Edric this position in the first place. Beside that, I respect Nazawata, and I would love to see even more of her. Another point of view I appreciate in Brisingr is Saphira's. Honestly, her perspective should have been included in the first book from the start. If she truly is Eragon's equal, then there is no reason to exclude her point of view. Saphira's perspective would have been most welcome in the previous novel, especially. It truly is a shame that Saphira's point of view is not incorporated throughout the entire series. Another point of view I would kill for is Murtagh's. He is such a compelling character to me. What can I say? I am indeed a sucker for a good tragic backstory. If Murtagh hadn't been kidnapped and imprisoned by Galbatorix, I believe he would have been one of our heroes. And although he is under Galbatorix's control, he still shows Aragon mercy and even attempts to warn him about the king's Eldonari. But, to be fair, I must acknowledge that Murtagh did murder King Hrothgar. But imagine what kind of person he could have been if only his mother had saved him. I think that Selena should have freed Murtagh from Morzan, or died trying. With Brom's assistance, she most likely could have spirited away her son. I am disappointed that nobody rescued baby Murtagh. I am also upset with Brom as a father. It makes zero sense that he hid his identity from Aragon. He absolutely should have told Aragon that he, too, was a rider and that he is his father. I can forgive Brom for not betraying his identity before Aragon bonded with Saphira, as he was protecting him then. Brom is a coward for not admitting his parentage to Aragon before he died. Uncle Garrow was a better father to Aragon than Brom, at least judging from the little we learn about him. It would be nice if we knew more about Garrow. How close was he truly to Aragon? Garrow was a simple farmer and a good man. He may not have taught his boys how to read, but it does seem like he taught them the meaning of a father's love. Aragon and Warren always remember Garrow fondly. So, now Aragon has lost his uncle, his father, and his mentor. I am so disappointed that Oromis died so soon. I know it was necessary to the plot, but it's certainly a bummer that he does not survive the first battle he enters after leaving the safety of Elismira. It is incredible that Galbatorix slays Oromis and Gladir in their first encounter, yet Aragon and Saphira have not been captured somehow? Anyway, let's discuss something more lighthearted for a moment. I love the concept of riders and dragons being platonic soulmates. The bond between a rider and dragon is the deepest form of love, and that is so beautiful. Saphira's pet names for Aragon are so cute and lovely, and it only makes the loss of Oromis that much more tragic now that Gladir has to live on within his heart of hearts alone. In this book, we learn more about Arya. She is ruthless and fierce, but she is also secretly heartbroken. Arya loved Fowlin, an elf who was murdered when Arya was captured at the very beginning of this series. She has been grieving for Fowlin in silence all this time. Everyone has lost someone precious to them in this world. On to other topics. Eragon finally has the opportunity to amend his mistake and free Elva from his curse. I believe Elva is justified in desiring to keep her powers, now that she has some control over them. Eragon and Nazawada are deeply afraid of this poor child, though. Only Angela is safe from Elva's power. And, frankly, I am glad that the herbalist refuses to teach Eragon and Nazawada how to fend off Elva's ability. Eragon was the one who accidentally cursed her in the first place. He may be the only person who deserves to be subjected to Elva's power. And Nazawada is all too happy to use Elva's ability for her own benefit. Neither of them should be protected from this child. One of the most fascinating parts of this book is when Eragon forges his own Rider's Blade with Runon. I am a huge fan of swords. One of my favorite shows is Forged in Fire because I love the process of creating blades. The show, Man-at-Arms Reforged, did an episode on Brisingr, recreating Eragon's sword based on the descriptions provided by the novel. If you haven't watched it yet, then you better look it up. On one last serious note, I am disproportionately interested in the two women that Angela has Eragon bless after she does a fortune reading for them. I want to learn more about these two women and their journey. Lastly, on a completely different note, I have some concerns regarding the elf Bloodgarm. The female characters are intoxicated by his mere scent. So, that alone is perturbing. It also unsettles me that even Saphira is attracted to his bewitching aroma. It seems that any and all female creatures are attracted to his scent. So, pair this with his wolf-like appearance, and now I am concerned about possible bestiality here. Regardless, I believe that Brisingr is the best book in the inheritance cycle. Eragon has grown a lot over the series. I almost wish the inheritance cycle had more books to it than just the 4.